So for our next segment here on the Non-Fantasy Football Podcast is free agency. So basically, this is just any news that goes on in free agency and analysis that we're going to say of it. We're gonna go over like the big moves, and then we're gonna tell you like the little minor moves if you feel like you want to know that. So we're just gonna do the AFC East because there's so many. We're just gonna do the AFC East division for this podcast. It's just so many news. So for the Jets, the first one is Bobby April, specialty coach, fired, and we talked about the special teams. I think it was appropriate that he got fired.
Yep.
Also, Dree Archer signed to a future contract, which I think could be pretty huge for the Jets, or like kick returning and punt returning, just like get that speedy little quick guy. Also, with the special team coach fired, the Jets hired Brant Boyer. And then the big one is that the Jets franchise tagged Muhammad Wilkerson. So what do you think about that move?
Muhammad Wilkerson one?
Yeah, franchise tagged Muhammad Wilkerson.
I think that was good for them. It's obviously a huge, great player. He's really good. And I think that they could possibly even do a tag and trade. And if that opportunity presents itself, it'll be great for the other team, and It'll be great for the Jets. So I think, it's good.
So what do you think, Jared?
I agree. It gives us more options now. We can either keep him for another season. The Jets could either keep him for another season or, like Nick said, tag and trade him, get value for him. I think it's just all around. It's what had to be done.
Also, I don't know if we said this before. We might have. I just want to reiterate. We record these podcasts on Friday, so anything that happens from Saturday, Sunday, and through the week, we don't know about. And these videos come out during the week, so don't yell at us if something big happens and we don't talk about it. It's just that we don't know it because we're recording on Friday. All right.
I'm sorry. I was looking something up. Did you talk about Freddie Bishop?
No, not yet. But we're going to get to that. Well, let's just go to that now. So the Jets signed an outside linebacker from the CFL named Freddie Bishop to a 2-year deal. He had 12 sacks in 2015, and he was cut from the Lions in 2013 after being an undrafted free agent. I feel like this is a good move for the Jets because I don't know. They didn't give the number value of the 2-year deal, but it's still big because the Jets see that outside linebacker, and if he's the guy, because everyone now is trying to copy the Dolphins with Cameron Wake, because Cameron Wake came from the CFL. I don't know if you guys knew that, but he became this whole superstar. So everyone's trying to copy them.
Trying to find that guy.
Exactly. So we don't know if he's him. He did have 12 sacks, which is really good for a season that probably has 14. I'm gonna look up how many games are in a season.
All right. While you're doing that, can I just add, Mike McCagnon was trying to do? He said that we're trying to get younger and quicker, and this fits that perfectly. Freddie Bishop is young. He's fast, and the Jets definitely need some more pass rushers, especially speed on the edge.
Now the only thing that confuses me is
There
that
16 games in
there are 16 games in CFL. Why was he cut from the Lions? If he's so good, why was he cut?
Because because he was an undrafted free agent, so some players when they get cut, he probably wasn't a big name. Mm-hmm. When they get cut, they go to the CFL or the XFL or Arena League or something like that, just to make a name for themselves. And this guy made a big name for himself in Canada. Jim Kelly also did that. He went to the Arena Football League, not the Arena Football League, the USFL, and he became a big star there. So, biggest news probably of the free agency for the Jets, besides Muhammad Wilkerson, they released him. Not released Muhammad Wilkerson, what am I talking about? They released Antonio Cromartie. And this is a big move for the Jets because, A, it got rid of $8 million in cap space, and B, it just makes them a little bit younger at the cornerback position because of Marcus Williams and everything. So now, we're going to go over to the Patriots. And the Patriots haven't had a lot happen in free agency. They re-signed Keyshawn Martin. He had a brief stint with them in the regular season when Brandon LaFell and all those guys were hurt. He had a 2-year, $3 million extension. Not really major, but, still a good role player.
Yep.
Monte Ball was cut. Not really a big factor for the Patriots. Gerard Mayo, another big thing for the Patriots, announced his retirement after 8 seasons. He was only 29 years old. So this brings up an interesting point with the NFL in a whole. I just want to go off this really quickly. There's been a very big increase in young players being retiring. What do you guys think about that?
I think it's because of the concussions and all of the different kinds of injuries and different things like that. So that's really, I feel like that's why. It's just because of injuries and people they don't feel like themselves. They have to, after you get a decent amount of concussions, you're just not your normal self, you know what I mean?
Same you said with Calvin Johnson, I presume, right?
Yeah.
He's retired. Well,
not necessarily because of injury, but it's also just because of age.
Well, he has
well.
been injured
Some
too.
people are, especially when you're in the NFL, you're making lots of money, so it's not like you're retiring. You got to go get a job. Like you're retiring, you're just chilling at home with your wife and your kids in your $1 million mansion. So it's not really like like a big thing that he's leaving. You know what I mean?
So, alright, so moving on with the Patriots, they released Brendan LaFell and Scott Chandler to make some cap room, and now going on to the Bills. The Bills, in their coaching, signed Rob Ryan, which could be a good chemistry thing with Rex Ryan. It could help him, as Rob Ryan, get back in track with his defensive coordinator and being good at the defense. Catherine Smith, a really big thing that no one really talked about. She's the first time full-time female head coach ever, like not head coach, but coach ever in the NFL. That's a pretty big milestone in the NFL that they finally got a woman to do a coaching job. They've restructured Charles Clay's contract because it,
freed up some cap space.
Freed up a lot of cap space with that. Released Mario Williams, Boobie Dixon, and Craig Urbick. That freed up $15 million in cap space, which is huge.
Almost 16, yeah,
which is huge.
Especially considering, they were one of the...
They were down, what was it?
I think they were the third worst. I think they were third worst.
Yeah, they were negative
$4 million.
negative one or $4 million.
So that's how we found out, it just changed like that.
Yeah.
So they franchise tagged Corey Glenn. I don't really agree with that. I'm pretty sure they should have franchise tagged Richie Incognito. I'm pretty sure you guys feel the same way about that.
Yeah, absolutely.
They've restructured safety Corey Graham's contract of reverted cornerback. Mm-hmm. So he's probably going to be big at the safety position with no one really there. And then finally they release Yotis McKelvin. So there's a little bit there's not a lot of depth in the cornerback position. Actually, Rex Ryan was actually talking about getting Antonio Cromartie as a free agent. So that's the thing to watch out for.
Oh, and I just want to say one thing, because you were saying that Corey Graham isn't good and you think that Bakari Rambo should be re-signed. I just looked up his stats. He did really good. He had 127 combined tackles, 96 solo, almost 100 tackles season, 31 assisted. He's, as you said, a converted corner to safety, 31 assists, 4 passes defended, and 2 interceptions, and one when he took it for a touchdown. So he was good, and he had a sack as well.
I didn't know that. Now, that kind of, makes you think about it a little bit more. That just shows how good of a coach Rex Ryan is, how he can get the best out of his players, even with changing a position.
Yeah.
So, now, finally, moving on to the Dolphins free agency stuff. They signed Adam Gase as the Dolphins head coach, which is big because this could probably mean either a turnaround for Ryan Tannehill this season if they don't try to trade him, which I still think they should. And I think that if Tannehill doesn't do good this season, he's probably gone. Even with with Gase as the head coach. But we'll talk about that later in Argument of the Week. Vance Joseph was signed as a defensive coordinator, so they're getting a major overhaul at coaching, which is big for them because that's basically the reason why they've been mediocre all these years.
Yeah, I agree.
A big GFL signing is that German Football League. Mm-hmm. German Football League. Tyler Davis signed to a future contract. So you can say that.
He had 94 catches, 1,733 yards, and 24 touchdowns.
In one season?
In one season. It's like they weren't even covering him.
Exactly.
And he was named the MVP. I don't know how it works. I assume of the league, offensive MVP, or maybe they won a Super Bowl MVP. I don't know. I don't know what they got going on in German Football League.
And I remember you saying before the show about how this could mean that they don't really need, it's not a priority.
Yeah, it depends. I don't know what that meant, because I could see them releasing another receiver like Greg Jennings, like Kenny Stills, maybe one of them, and having this guy replace him. But maybe it means that they don't want Rashard Matthews, and they signed him to maybe in the hopes to replace Rashard Matthews. I don't know what they meant by this signing.
But we'll see.
But it could be one of those things.
So, and you said he was the MVP of the German Football League, right?
Yeah, or something.
Yeah.
MVP something.
So, minor cut, Jason Fox. I don't think he was even a big guy. He was cut. Lamar Miller. They want Lamar Miller back, the Dolphins. We've said this before. But Miller doesn't want to go back. He wants to be the featured back wherever he signs. And I don't think that he wants to go back to the Dolphins because I don't think the Dolphins can give that to him, which is interesting because he's a very good player. He should get those touches. He should be the featured back. Another CFL signing, Cleon Lang, something like that, signed to a 3-year deal. He played 35 games throughout his career in the CFL. He had 15 sacks. Jets and Pats made an offer, so the Dolphins pried him from them. So maybe that's a big thing to look out.
Yeah.
little thing to look out for. Maybe he'll be a little contributor as a sack leader. They franchise tagged Oliver Vernon. We'll see if he'll tag and trade that. I don't believe so. So a big thing here is like since their cap space was bad, I think they kind of like got a little bit better with it. They're trying to restructure Sue and Cameron Wake's contracts before free agency so that they can get some more cap room to sign free agents, which is big for them because they need that.
And I heard they're making a lot of progress with Ndamukong and Sue's.
So we'll monitor that. Linebacker Koamisi, close to restructuring his deal, which again the story with this team is trying to restructure, trying to get the cap space in order to get the key free agents they want. And finally, I believe that is it.